do this! look. Hello, Ritchie.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas, instead of the usual Salt Lake City, Utah, and on the road. The first time trying to do this on the road, so it's going to be interesting.
Yes, that is fantastic. There's always something new waiting and happening. And because live streaming just by itself isn't like challenging enough, we've taken it upon ourselves to do this mobile. So Ritchie is coming to us all the way from a very hot Springs, apparently. I'm here in Joburg. And we have Dan, who says very nice photographs. Yes, absolutely. We have received a huge amount of pictures, and we are super excited that all of you are so very enthusiastic about sharing them. And I think, yeah, big up to everyone who submitted.
Yeah, it's so great to see you. Thank you for submitting and tuning in today, Dan, and everybody else who's out there in the audience across the world. We're so honored that you could be here.
Yes, absolutely. It's Jack who's saying hello as well. Hello, Jack. How are you doing there? Thank you so much to everyone for being here early, and for seeing us all in black and white. And we, Jack is saying he's a huge fan of your work, Ritchie, and the recipes. Thank you for bringing us your vision. Yes. If it wasn't for you, Ritchie, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you for your kindness.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
It's a lot of fun for me to create them, and I'm glad that people are finding them useful.
Dan is saying, I'm trying to understand what he's saying. Apparently you guys have emailed, so thank you.
Yeah,
awesome.
and I gotta apologize. A lot of people have emailed me, and because I'm traveling, I'm a little bit behind on answering emails and comments. I do try and answer them all, and if it's taking longer, just a little bit of patience, and I'll get to it.
Yes, because when you're traveling, it's all just a little bit more challenging.
It's been challenging enough already.
Yes. Robert, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for all your submissions as well. I'm glad you enjoyed the recipe. We loved seeing your results. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And there is Raki, who's also saying thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful, to have this vibe. We want to connect with you, so thank you for all your comments. Don't be shy. Don't hold back. Let us know. If there are any questions, just shoot our way.
And me and Nathalie were talking a couple days ago just about how incredible the Fujifilm community is. And that's you guys out there in the audience across the world. People go to the Fuji X Weekly website, or go to Nathalie's website, or go to these Facebook groups where you talk about film simulation recipes and everything. Community around Fujifilm cameras is just unheard of, unprecedented in the photography world. And so it's just amazing to be a part of that.
Yes. Well put. Very well put. We couldn't be in a more privileged place to be able to, engage with this awesome community. And yes, I can only second that. It's absolutely phenomenal. I have some questions to you, Ritchie, while you're busy traveling. Okay. And I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who would like to ask similar questions. The all-important question for me is what are you traveling with? I mean, I know that you're not just on a road trip. There's a little bit more behind there. But what does Ritchie travel with when he's on a road trip?
A massive echo on Ritchie's audio. I guess we'll have to figure that out. Sorry about that. My camera bag is very small. I've posted an article about it before. My ultimate travel kit. What's inside the bag is a little different on this trip. I have a Fujifilm X100V and I'm only using the Tri-X400 recipe on that. Just one camera, one lens, one recipe for that camera. And then I have the Fujifilm X-E4 with the 27mm 2.8 pancake lens on it. And in that, I'm using Kodachrome 64 recipe, the new Natura 1600 recipe that I just published. And then I have a bunch of experimental recipes on there that hopefully will be on the website before too long. So that's what I got in my bag, and that's the extent of my kit. However, my wife has her camera in her camera bag, and so I'm able to kind of swap out some stuff with her. So I've also used the 90mm f2 lens a little bit as well.
Okay, sure. But when you're talking about the Xe4 and the 27mm lens, it hardly doesn't get any more compact than that. I mean,
no. And the two cameras, X100V and the Xe4 with the 27mm lens, are about the same size, and they both fit very well in that camera bag.
And just repeat the recipes just for everyone in case you want to make some notes. This is, just something on the side. We, we always have our special occasions that we talk about during the main show, which we will get to. And I'm sure we will cover travel recipes at some stage as well. But this is just like a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you can just
X100V, it's Tri-X only. And then on the Xe4, I got the Kodachrome 64 film simulation recipe, the new Natura 1600 film simulation recipe, and then the rest of the C1 through C7 slots, so the other 5, are all hopefully upcoming, experimental recipes.
Okay, awesome. That is brilliant. I would just like to ask the audience how Ritchie's audio is now. I hope we've been able to eliminate that echo. If you can just give us a little bit of feedback, that would be awesome. Thank you so much.
And speaking of giving us feedback, we would love to have any questions that you may have. Feel free to ask them in the comments. We want to answer those. Anything you want to say, statements or anything like that, we'd love to hear from you. This is an interactive program, so the more that you chat with us, the better the program is. So just fire away with whatever you got.
Yes, don't hold back. Fire away. Fire our way. Speaking of firing away, I have, as always, our trivia deck, and I want to ask the audience a question. So in case you are tuning in for the first time, we have this fun little game here that I've discovered not too long ago, and we choose one question, and then we would like for you to see, we want to build your photography knowledge. It's really not all that serious, so don't go all competitive on us. And please don't try not to Google anything. We give you a couple of minutes, but if you can just, see, and then shoot your guesses or answers our way, that would be really cool. We just want to have a little bit of fun and, see if we can learn something, isn't it? So I've got a question here, and that is a really cool one. So let's see. It's in normal daylight. The human eye has an f-stop equivalent of what?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a very good question. And
I don't think I've ever come across this before. I'm curious what the answer is.
Yes. I'm not going to turn the card around to see the answer. So I'll put it here, and I'll ask you, send us your guesses. Let us know what you think. What f-stop we see in normal daylight?
I'm gonna throw out a guess. I'm gonna just throw one out. I have no idea the answer, but I'm gonna say f7.1. That's my guess.
7.1.
Yeah.
Okay. Why 7.1?
It's a wild guess. I didn't want to go with F8 or something like that. I figured that would be too obvious.
Okay. Caroline says 20 stops. Okay. Cool. So F20.
Is this I was thinking like depth of field, not so much like Amount of light. Oh,
Yes.
okay. I had it all wrong. I was way off on.
No, you've got it right, Ritchie. We're looking for an f-stop, so we're not looking for a dynamic range. We're looking for an f-stop number. So I assume that maybe Caroline means 20 stops of light, or she means f20. And okay, Rob says more than 20. David says F8. Hi, David. How are you doing? And thank you for joining us today. F8. So we have 20, more than 20, 8, and 7.1. Okay. Let's keep the guesses going. We'll give it another couple of minutes, and then let's reveal what the answer really is. I don't know either. Okay. Ivan says, I think it's F8 in the day and F2 in the dark. Okay. Well, I don't know about that.
A bonus guess here. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get brownie points. That's cool. And Dan is guessing F4. Okay, so that's good. We're getting you thinking. That's nice. So cool.
Awesome.
Keep on, keep bringing them, and and then we will revisit this just now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's great about going back to the travel kit, it's a little, my camera bag is a little National Geographic bag, and it's very small, but what's perfect about it is it fits in the center console of my car. So I guess if you're watching this and come across my car, if you break into it, you'll find a camera bag in the center console probably. But it's just so convenient for driving around, going out about. And if I need to pull the bag out, it's so small and light. And, I definitely recommend that to anybody who's looking for something small and light to carry with them. It's a good setup.
Yes, that's awesome. Just another quick question. If we can get some more feedback from the audience on Ritchie's audio, that would be very helpful. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. And I think light and small, it's just there's so much to be said about keeping it small. Much because there's just no thinking. You just grab that camera and it serves you well.
So you guys in the audience, what do you guys do when you do travel photography? What do you bring? What's your gear and camera bag and all that stuff? Let us know. I'd love to hear it.
Yes. Just together with your guess about the f-stop, what do you travel with? Do you travel? Where have you traveled to recently? Are you traveling soon? All those travel-related comments would be really cool to have. So that is that. In the meantime, there is Caroline. She says, it depends where my focus is. So I think my eye changes light. Like
a zoom lens. Yeah. Maybe. That'd be interesting to know.
Yes.
I guess I've never really thought of this, the physiology of that, I guess.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Definitely.
Or biology. I don't know. I don't know what you would.
Yeah.
I don't know what science category that ends up in, but whatever category it ends up in, I've never put too much thought into it, but it's kind of fascinating.
Yes. So I'm glad that we get you thinking. So here is someone who's got a very mathematical answer. That is Harold.
Oh yeah.
That is F2. Okay, I'm not sure if I can decipher this. Ritchie, help me here. What's Harold trying to tell us? Can you see the comment? F22.
Maybe it's F25 with a 4mm. No, it's got to be.
He knows something.
Okay, Harold, you'll have to help us out, Harold. You'll have to spell it out a little. We're not.
That is okay.
I guess scientific enough to understand.
Yeah, I've got the feeling Harold knows something about eyes that is more than the average human being, which I think is really cool. So thank you. So if you can elaborate that on a little bit more, that would be cool. Otherwise, we will just, read you the answer in a short little while and take it from there.
Yep.
But in the meantime, we always want to know where you guys tune in from, who's watching from where, what time of the day it is, wherever you are, because with Ritchie traveling, it's been quite interesting for us to keep track of our time difference.
Okay, what time? Yeah.
And so by now I've the world clock on my phone is my best friend, because I'm just done counting. So wherever you're watching from, give us a shout out, let us know, and tell us. Tell us. Let us.
Yeah, we'd love to know. And it's amazing. It's always amazing to find out where everybody's tuning in from, because there's always somebody, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and they're watching, and that's amazing to me, or somewhere it's like 4 a.m. or, I'm really honored that you guys would tune in at such odd hours to watch us chat and stuff, and hopefully learn something. So yeah, we got David watching from Ireland, and it's 6 p.m. That's awesome.
That's pretty decent. Thank you, David.
Yeah, it's probably a good time in Ireland. Yeah.
Yes.
Montreal, and Gabriel's tuning in.
Nice. That is very cool.
Awesome.
We always see how people are watching in from so many different places. Like Rob's also, he's tuning in from Germany. Oh, that's very cool. He wants live polls. We have had that sometime last year. We've since changed systems a little bit, so we are working on getting that back somehow into the queue. But yes, that would be very cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. That's awesome.
Oh, and then from Colombia. That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
That's very cool, Jack.
That's almost midnight there.
Nice to have you. Very nice to have you there.
Oh no, it's almost noon. I'm reading it wrong. Sorry, my screen. I'm using a laptop for the first time, and the screen's so far away. It's hard for me to read it. I almost need glasses or something.
Yeah. Yes. So what I wanted to let you know also before we, have to move on here, is that we started with this pre-show because we just wanted to have a little bit more time to chat and to answer questions that may not be related at all to what we're talking about in the show, and just give you guys the opportunity to, chat with us. So we want to have a casual chat. We don't really have any structure here. Just tune in, just shout out, because this show is for you, and we want to meet you, we want to get to know you, we want to, find out what it is that you shoot, that you love, and maybe things that you may need help with. So please use this platform. We are only too happy to answer whatever questions you may have. And then we have Kendra. Hi, Kendra. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's so good to have you with us. We have a little bit of a something later on in the show prepared with Kendra, so don't miss out on that. And then Eva is tuning in from the Netherlands at 7 o'clock, so that's pretty decent. Yeah, Europe,
I think that's a good time.
For Europe, this time works pretty well. Drock, of course. I assume that is the town where he's tuning in from. I don't know the town, I'm sorry. Shall have to travel there.
Oh, good. The audio improved. That's great.
Thank you so much for letting us know. I'm so relieved to hear that. That was a bit worrying.
Yeah, there's always, when you're doing a live broadcast, there's always problems that can come up that are completely unforeseen. And so glad we got that fixed.
Yes, very. And we have Agos from Latvia. That's also different. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Awesome.
But I think before time ticks away too quickly, I think we need to lift the mystery of the f-stop.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Let's find out.
Okay, let's find out. So the actual answer is very close to what a lot of people almost have guessed. So my clever answer sheet here says it's f8.3. So
okay.
a lot of people were very close. And
I think F8's probably the closest. Yeah.
yes,
That'd be close enough in my book. Yeah.
Yeah. So well done to everyone who's almost got
There's
it
no
right.
prize, but if you guessed
No,
F8,
you can tap yourself on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Woohoo! But yeah, and some people may have learned something. And Björn's dialing in from Dubai. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us. We are going to have to wrap it up, Ritchie.
Yep.
We are going to see everyone in the main show. It's time for us to move on over. See you just now, Ritchie.
Yep. In about 1 minute.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Let's do this!
Good day. Welcome to another episode of SOOC, where we talk about everything and anything straight out of camera. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Nathalie, and I'm coming to you from Johannesburg, South Africa. And we are here to talk about everything that is straight out of camera and a show that helps you to make it easier to create stunning looking JPEGs straight out of camera. How's it, as we say from South Africa, or how are you doing? Howdy, how is everyone today? We were a little bit soundless there at the beginning of the show, so apologies for that. But yeah, that's how it is. That's live streaming. There's always something, or can be something, that is, not the way we planned it. So please forgive us for that. But we are absolutely excited to have you here. And if you've been tuning in the pre-show already, you've seen that Ritchie is with us here again this evening. If you are new and you've just tuned in, let me just tell you what this show is all about. Because we are here once a month, every second Tuesday of the month to be exact. And we come together to celebrate film simulation recipes. And we share some tips and tricks to make it easier and better to get you shooting and less editing, so that you can enjoy super awesome looking JPEGs. And I am, like I said, not here by myself. I have co-host Ritchie from Fuji X Weekly with me, and I'm super honored to do this show together with him. So let's give him a round of applause and welcome him and, see where he's tuning in from today.
Hello, Nathalie, and hello, everybody out there watching. Honored to be here with you and tuning in from, joining you live from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so, first time here. It's been an interesting adventure, and yeah, I'm on the road. It's the first time trying to do this remotely like this from a place that's not my home or anything.
Yes. Welcome to the show, Ritchie. It's awesome that you're here, and I hope we have, chased all the gremlins out and we're ready to do the show. Looking and sounding good there, and ready to tackle the show. And give a big shout out to let's give a big shout out to the audience. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you're new, if you're here for the first time, even a bigger, shout out to you. Thank you so much for finding us. If you're here again, thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this without you. We're here to answer all your questions that you could possibly have about shooting JPEGs in camera or anything else Fujifilm related, photography related. We would love to hear your questions, and so just, shoot them away.
Yep, we're here for you, so, this is your platform for us to help you. So, season 2, we're doing things a little different. We started out with a 30-minute pre-show, which is where we have an informal chat stuff and just kind of warm up before the show. And Nathalie, we do the viewer images thing, so you can tackle that one.
We show all the viewers uploads during the pre-show as well, because you are so awesome and you send us so many pictures that we want to, show. Because, we want to make sure that they all get viewed. So it's always obviously the recipe from the previous show. And yeah. This month, again, it was absolutely phenomenal, everything that you have submitted.
Thank you, everybody, for submitting such wonderful pictures, too. And then what we're doing is, instead of, in the last season, we introduced a new recipe, but didn't really tell you what it was going to be until the show. So now we're letting you know ahead of time what that new recipe will be as we wrap up the old one as well.
Yes, exactly, because we found that we wanted to give you just a little bit more, advice and information on the recipe before you start shooting with it. And so we thought we need to switch it up a little bit. And then lastly, and most importantly, we want to open the screens and microphones for you guys. We would love to have you as live guests on the show, because we want to get to know you better. We want to, connect with you, because as the audience and an awesome Fujifilm community member, we want to, just really also give you a platform to exchange a little bit what your experiences are of shooting with recipes, why you're shooting recipes, and anything else that, you could possibly think of. So reach out to us and we will take it from there. And moving along with more news, we have touched on this already last month, but since it's a big celebration in the year of Fujifilm, we thought, there's no harm in repeating this, and everyone who has missed out on last episode, you may have heard that Fujifilm is celebrating 10 years of X-Mount. which means that it's 10 years ago since the X Pro 1 was first launched. And so Fujifilm is doing a huge celebration around this and is inviting the whole awesome Fujifilm community to contribute images on the social platforms. If you share your images with the hashtag 10 years of X-Mount, you stand a chance of getting your images featured on those global platforms. So we want to invite you to do exactly that. And then also...
And this month, the theme is monochrome, is black and white.
Every month, on the first of the month, Fujifilm brings out the new theme. And this month is monochrome. And I thought that was absolutely cool because we've just wrapped up last month with shooting our first black and white recipe, which was triax. If you've missed it, go back to last month's episode and watch that to make sure that you get all the ins and outs on that recipe. And
once you start using that recipe, you can't stop. That's the great thing about it.
Yes, absolutely. Recipe that you... Fujifilm had this ringing in their ears because they chose monochrome as this month's theme. And I got all inspired because I was like on my black and white mode. And so I shared a couple of pictures that I went through my archives with and looked through, ever since I started shooting on Fujifilm, which is for me 10 years next year. Which I thought was a nice, coincidence. So I put together a little bit of a collection of 10 images that I shared on my Instagram, going through the years from when I first got my first Fujifilm camera, which was an X100S, and was absolutely loving it. And shot, for a number of years on that camera before I moved on. So the second picture is from a year later in 2013. And then in, 2014. Then 2016, I went traveling to Vietnam and shot on an XT1, which was actually not even mine at that point. But, that was the point where I then, returned from that trip and said, okay, it's got to be Fujifilm all the way. And then 2015, I think this was where I then, did a few more photographs with an XT2. This is when I then really got into Fujifilm and was shooting professionally with it already as well. And let me just see, I think I'm getting a bit mixed up with my years here. Then in 2018, I'm, shooting this, for example, this was, like private work, but I'm really like only shooting Fujifilm now all the way. This was shot on an XT30 in 2019. And in 2019, later that year, we adopted a dog. And I shot this image on an XT3. In 2020, I went traveling just before we stopped traveling and shot an image with an XA7. I actually traveled to Germany only with an XA7 and challenged myself to, one camera, one lens, and no recipes really.
That's a nice picture too.
Yeah, I'm amazed the quality of images that I got from this camera. And then I finally landed on my X Pro 3. That was 2 years ago as well that I shot that. And then in 2021, I shot on my XT3. So this is really just to inspire you to maybe also look through your archives as to what you've shot so far and to, join in on the monochrome theme for this month. You have the whole of May still, to join the community and to post images. And don't forget the hashtag 10 years of X-Mount. And I'm sure, Ritchie,
Awesome.
you have tons and tons of monochrome images.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I shoot a lot of color because, that's a lot of the film simulation recipes are color, and that's the ones that people are more interested in. But I'm always drawn to black and white, and I always have. And I learned photography shooting black and white film, and I try and shoot that whenever I can. It's not the majority of my pictures, but I would almost kind of prefer it to be. So the theme this month is perfect for me. I love it, and I love like using the Triax recipe and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great.
Yes. So apart from sharing with Fujifilm Global, we also thought we give you another way you can share some of your images with us and go more back into your archives, because we thought it would be really interesting to hear what your first image was that you shot on Fujifilm that really made you go, yes, I need to get into this camera system because this is why I love it so much, or it makes something so much easier, or colors are so beautiful, or whatever your reasons were why you switched to the system. Like Ritchie and I, for example. Here's Ritchie, one of Ritchie's first images, isn't it?
Yeah, so I captured this on a Fujifilm X-E1 about 10 days or so after I got the camera. And it was an in-camera double exposure using the monochrome film simulation. This is before I was making recipes and stuff. But this was the first time of using, I think this is my third attempt, actually, the very third attempt of doing a double exposure in camera. And this was the first time I had done that digitally in camera. I'd done double exposures with film, shooting one right on top of the other. But in the digital world, I'd always taken two separate frames and then in software combined them up to make the double exposure. But this was the first time doing it in camera, and I just love the way that process worked. And this is also one of the first pictures where I was using the JPEG out of the camera as opposed to the raw file. So yeah, that's why this picture was important to me and made me go, oh yeah, this is a camera that I can use and really enjoy. That's my daughter Joy, by the way, and she was much younger.
Yes, I absolutely love. First of all, I love the image and I love the story, and yeah, it just goes to show how versatile the cameras really are, and how awesome the system is, and the opportunities you have to create with it. And I love seeing how your kids grow. If you are also a follower of Ritchie's blog and you've been reading his posts, or you come across posts as you go through recipes, you see how the kids grow, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. And thank you for sharing the images with us, Ritchie, so that we get to almost like share in a part of it also.
Well, thanks, Rick, for the nice comment, and maybe that's something we can tackle on this show at some point down the road is actually doing in-camera double exposures. That would be kind of cool.
That would be very cool. That's a nice idea. Let's talk about that. Let's
write that one down.
Yeah. So this.
And now here's your picture, Nathalie.
Yes, yeah. So this was on my very first trip to Namibia, where I had to decide to travel with only one small camera, because it was a big family trip and there were lots of suitcases and there was just no space for big camera bags. And I had just received my X100 and I was playing around with it and I did some long exposure. This was traveling in the car, and I actually shot this through a window, and I was very happy with it. And that was just like so nice, because it was really on the way, like 1 or 2 days into the trip, and I was still a little bit nervous as to, will I miss my other camera gear? And then I got this picture. I'm like, oh no, I think I'll be fine. So yeah, so these are Ritchie and my images as firsts that made us want to shoot with the system more. So if you have stories like that, or if you have something similar, please do share it with us. We would love to hear your story. So we invite you to upload your image to the normal upload link with the hashtag 10 years of X-Mount, nicely labeled, and tell us your story. And we would love for you to join us as a live guest, so you can do so right here and then, because I am sure the audience would love to hear your story. The audience always loves to hear good stories. We have lost Ritchie. That is not good. I'm sure we will get him back in here in no time. Sometimes the system freezes a little bit, but there he is. Hello. You.
My Wi-Fi cut out, so
Oh dear.
yeah, I had to restart that.
No problem.
My apologies to everyone.
That's all good. In the meantime, I told everyone to please upload and share their images with us for the 10 years of X-Mount. And we have some more news, and that is the X Summit that is happening in May. So we have not heard much more about it, apart from the fact that it's going to happen sometime this month. So we wanted to just, alert you to it in case you are like us and always want to be on the pulse with new releases, to hear what's coming out. Is there, what is there that we are wishing for, what we're looking for? Ritchie, is there anything that you are hoping that is going to get announced this month?
I always look forward to new cameras, so I don't know if I could afford one if they did announce it, but but that's always fun. Like the cameras are what probably get the most attention. Probably the thing that impacts more people though is lenses. So it'd be interesting. I know there's a couple lenses on the roadmap. I don't know if those will be announced or not, or what exactly specifically may be coming. But yeah, for me, I'm always hoping for cameras.
Yes. So what we do know is that there is a 5th generation X series camera that is going to get released. So whatever that means, we've heard something about the stacked sensor that Fujifilm has announced last year in their last summit. They told us what we can look forward to coming this year. So yeah, so that's going to be really interesting. And yeah, these 2 lenses that are on the roadmap, we obviously don't know whether that is something that's happening this summit or another summit. Maybe there's some firmware updates. That would be cool. I know we always want
That would be great.
Firmware updates and more film simulations and so forth. So let's see. But yeah, keep on the lookout. I'm sure once the date is official, it will be announced on all the platforms, and then we can chat in the next show what actually did get announced.
Yeah, and that'll be fun. and you guys can let us know what you would like. Let us know in the comments what you would like to see announced by Fujifilm in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yes, absolutely. But we have a tip. We always have a tip, and we also have a tip today. And the tip is a really smart, clever shortcut that Ritchie shared not too long ago. That has got to do with quicker access to the recipes. And
yeah, so this is a fun one, because normally you put the recipe in your custom presets. So you have to hit the Q button, and then through there actually scroll through C1 through C7. But there's a little bit easier way to access it using the rear command dial.
Yes. And we want to all share that with you and want to make sure that you can benefit from this. So to, really explain to you guys, we want to actually run through how to program this. And I've got an XT3 sitting here waiting to be programmed. And I thought Ritchie can talk us through or talk me through how to do this, and then we can demonstrate, and you could watch and learn, and take it from there. So,
Okay.
shall we?
Yeah,
do
awesome.
this?
Yeah, and you can do this on any. I think you can do this on any X-Trans 3 or X-Trans 4 camera that has a rear command dial. So the XE4, you cannot do this on. But yeah, let's open up the menu. Hit the menu button.
There we go.
And then we're going to go to the wrench menu at the bottom. Or what'd you say you called it in South Africa?
We call it the spanner.
The spanner. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to go there, and then we're going to go to button and dial settings.
Okay, that's over here. All right.
And you'll click on that or arrow to the right. And then we're going to go to function FN setting.
Okay.
Function FN setting.
Cool.
And click on that or arrow to the right. You don't want to work. And then we get this great visual where Fujifilm shows us exactly where the buttons are, and we're going to go find that rear command dial.
Yes, so let's scroll through. I think that is really cool how they've done this, to be very honest. I love how it looks, and it looks so nice on this big screen. And there are lots of different function settings, and this very last one is the one that we're looking for.
So you can click on that or arrow to the right. Either one will work. And we're going to change that to be a select custom setting.
Okay.
Which is
luckily,
just
it's
not where you're at. It's a long list that you can go through, but it's the select custom settings with that little C in the box kind of thing.
I'm glad it's not on page number 7, but right here.
Yes.
Okay, and then
so once you select that, and then you can exit the menu.
Okay, there's different ways of doing it. The quickest I always find is if I half press the shutter button, then I always
half press the shutter takes you right out of it.
Yeah.
So then when you press the rear command dial, it pulls up your C1 through C7 custom presets. So I see a Kodak Tri-X. There's the Kodak Vision 3. Superia. So you have those programs where you can easily go through those, and you can scroll through them either by turning the wheel of the rear command dial or using the joystick if your camera has a joystick, or even the D-pad arrows will scroll you through there, and it's a little bit quicker to access your custom presets that way.
Yes, and then you just. How do you select it from here? Do you just press the OK?
So you can press in on the rear command dial. You can press OK. Or if you have a joystick, you can press in on the joystick.
Okay. And
it will select
that's that. And that's it.
Awesome.
A very quick and easy
hopefully
tip.
That makes things a little quick. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely does. It does help. I advise that you try it out and see how you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have my X100V set up that way and my XT30 set up that way. So it works out really well on those cameras.
Yes. Thank you so much for that tip. That is great. But moving along swiftly, we have also prepared some more recipes for you that you can use in different situations for different occasions. And inspired by, a new recipe that we're announcing, we thought we focus a little bit more on low light photography. And we have...
Yeah, so this is...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Nathalie. Oh, I was going to say, this isn't necessarily for nighttime photography, but it can be. But what we had in mind was just once the lights get darker and dim, and maybe you're indoors or maybe you're outdoors, what recipes would work well for that time? Maybe kind of blue hour, could be nighttime, could be indoors, but we wanted to be a little bit more versatile with what we were selecting. So
exactly.
The recommendations that I have, if you have an X-Trans 2 camera, is to use that Cinestill 800T recipe for X-Trans 2. That is actually my favorite version of the Cinestill, of the different Cinestill recipes that I've made. So if you have an X-Trans 2 camera, get that one out, program it in, and use that one in low light. I really enjoy doing that.
Yes, and
If you have,
sorry, I just wanted to also mention that since we are still on Kodak Vision 3, so this is a very good, a very similar recipe to that. And yeah, so I think it's really nice. And I absolutely love this image. It's very striking. So let's go out
thank you.
and try and
shoot some gas stations. I mean, with
yes,
your
exactly.
and then the next one. Go ahead, Nathalie.
Yes, and because we want to make sure that everyone gets to try different recipes, and we're all shooting with different cameras here, so we have chosen also a recipe that is for X-Trans 3 and 4 sensors, and that is one of Ritchie's classic chrome versions, so it's not just a classic chrome, isn't it?
Yes, and this was one of the first 2 recipes that I actually ever made and published on the website. So it's an early one, but I still enjoy using it. A lot of people enjoy using it. Still very popular. And you can use this on any X-Trans 3 or 4 camera, but if it is a camera that's X Pro 3 or newer, you'll have to decide what size you want the grain to be. If you have color chrome effect and color chrome effect blue, you can just set those to off and clarity to 0, and it'll work perfectly. I would recommend setting grain size to small. That's just my recommendation. You can use large if you'd like, but any X-Trans 3 or 4 camera, you're good to go with this recipe, and it does really well in low light situations.
Yes. And then lastly, a very brand new, hot off the press recipe, or straight out the kitchen, should I say?
Straight out of the kitchen. The plate is still hot. It just came out of the oven. Be careful, don't touch it.
It was released this week and is for the latest cameras. So if you want to give that a try, it's the Fujicolor Superia 1600. And, as always, you can read up if you go into the app and click to read on the website. You always get the ins and outs of the details on this recipe and some more information. Like Ritchie's saying, if you have other cameras, you can maybe use it and change a few settings so that you can make it work.
Yep.
And just a screenshot this page if you want, so that you have an overview over those 3 recommendations that we give you for X-Trans 2, 3, and 4 sensors. You can choose, and you should be fine if you get stuck in some low light situation. Today, we are celebrating Kodak Vision 3 to 50D. Everything that you have created and shared with us is, center stage today. And we absolutely love what you've come up with. I have totally fallen in love with this recipe because it's connected to movies, and everything that's connected to movies make me go a little bit gaga. So we've got a few sample shots that Ritchie and I have just to get the mood going. So Ritchie, don't you just want to let us know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, you said that talked about movies, and that this really you're really in the movies, and so this film simulation really speaks to your heart in that way. But I actually got a message not that long ago from an actor, a Hollywood actor who's been in movies and TV shows and stuff. Oh, right. And he uses film simulation recipes, and he told me that this the Kodak Vision 250D is one of the recipes that he likes to use. So I just found that interesting.
Yeah, his eyes must be tuned into this kind of a look.
Yes, exactly. So anyways, this picture here, I just recently captured this. This is the view that if you could look outside, that's what you would see. I captured this a few days ago, just the boat going by. And I like how the recipe, captured the color of the sky and the greens and the blues and stuff. So you get a certain look out of this recipe, and I think you can see some of those colors in this picture.
Yeah, nice view. Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of view, this is one of my images that I captured while traveling. Also, this is not my view out of my window at all. And I love the mood in this. I really do. And this is probably one of those where I'm like, yeah, Kodak Vision 3 is definitely one of my favorites.
And so this picture here is of, I guess, kind of a historic house in the Ozarks in Missouri. I like the stained glass windows on it, and just tried to capture that with this recipe.
Yeah, that's stunning. Traveling the Ozarks, so interesting.
Yeah, I've never been. It's the first time for me, so it's been an interesting trip. It's beautiful here.
Yes, yeah, it looks beautiful. And this is me taking a walk through my local park, and I just wanted to showcase that, on the one hand, this recipe does blue skies extremely well, and gives the whole image a really beautiful tone, but greens are also captured really nicely. So yeah, that's why I thought I'll share this image just to highlight that point that, blues, greens, and, reds are also
Reds and
and yellows, really stunning with this recipe. But much more important than our images are, of course, what you have submitted. And
this is the best part.
Yes, you showered us with lots of images, which is absolutely phenomenal. And because we now show all the images that you submit in our slideshow that we start in the pre-show, we pick a few images that, for no particular reason, some that we like, or a certain character or thing that we like about the images, and so we want to share those with you.
We get so many submissions that we can't show them all during the show. So if you want to see all of the pictures, tune into the pre-show, and or stay after the show, and you'll be able to see them all. And we're honored to be able to show them all. And I wish we could show them all on the show, but we just have to narrow it down to a few. Yes. And so this image here is one I selected. Martin Wong captured this. I love the symmetry of the building here, with the different escalators going different directions and stuff. And this image stood out to me from that point of view of just the design of the image itself.
Yes, and talking about design and geometrical shapes, this is why I thought this image here submitted by Sanjeev was so very catching. I love how he captured the light and shadow here in this image. So very well done on this one. Yeah,
and Robert submitted this picture of looks like an abandoned place, abandoned location. I love abandonment photography. I love going to places that have been forgotten to time, and they're just falling apart and decaying. And it adds a little bit of a mystery how it was framed through what looks like a fence where you can see in, and that pictures like that speak to my heart, and soul. So I just love it. Thanks for submitting that one, Robert.
Yes. What do you all think? I also absolutely love that one. Let us all know what your thoughts are on these pictures that we're sharing with you. And I also absolutely love this image here that David shared with us. Exceptionally well captured. Panning is not easy, and for the faint-hearted.
No.
But all the colors really, shine so beautifully here. The red obviously is super striking. So thank you for submitting that. And
to emphasize, like shots like that are hard to capture, to capture good. And so way to go, David, for doing that one so well. And this picture here of the apples is, to me, this looks like something you would see on the wall in a restaurant or kitchen somewhere or something like that as artwork. And it just as a poster, it just looks so good. And so, Jean, thanks for submitting it. It just looks so well.
Yeah, and again, like
if I was looking for artwork for my kitchen, I would get this one.
Oh, excellent! Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very inviting and showcasing those beautiful colors. Really, really nice. And then we could not show this picture because what about, how do you not show a picture shot in Kodak Vision 3 250D that captures the Kodak factory? So that is very smart. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I love it. And I absolutely love how
and if you can't read what the building says, that is the Kodak factory. That is the place right there.
Yeah, that is it.
Amazing.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That was really nice. That made me smile, and I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist to pick that one.
Yeah.
And now I think. Am I counting right? Have we gone through all three? I think it's time for a little bit of a drum roll, and we always pick one that we think, overall just really captures the essence of the recipe the most. As every recipe has some character to it that is a strong point or whatever, and so we have a feature image that we share with you that encapsulates all of this. And
oh, we get some sound effects.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And this was submitted by Enrico, who also has been submitting, so very loyally every single month. So thank you for all your support. It's really wonderful. I love this image.
The tones in it, the colors, and especially how that person in the red stands out against the green. It's just it draws you into that spot right there.
Yeah, it's insane actually. Like at first you look at it and you're like, okay, all the other pictures, because there's so many pictures coming in, and then you skim through them. And then the more I look at this image, like this man in this red jacket just like jumps at me. It's like really, it's like so well captured. Yeah, Rob, thank you for sharing your sentiments with us. So yeah, it's phenomenal what you guys get up to. And what I also always love so much is like to get a window into your lives wherever you are, and just, all the worlds are so different, and where people live and what catches everyone's eyes. So that is, such a treat.
Yeah, and all these pictures are inspiring to me personally, and I get a lot of joy out of it, but I also maybe get a little more out of it too. Just and how I look at things, it allows me to look at things just a little bit differently. And so hopefully we're all just learning from each other and, seeing each other's pictures and stuff.
Yes, exactly. That's what it's all about. We want to, share the love and inspiration to go out and shoot some more images just because we can.
Yep. Especially now that we're not editing the pictures, we have the time to do that.
Exactly. And the time to do some more shooting is now with a new recipe. So for this month, we have chosen a Fujicolor recipe, and namely the Fujicolor Superia 800 one. Like I was saying earlier, we are moving from a daylight and rather low ISO film to a bit more a higher ISO and 800, so that we can photograph in more overcast situations and get a very different look, as much we try to vary it so that the images that you get every month are very different from the previous one. So I think Fujicolor Superia really shines in overcast situations. Ritchie, you can share with us just now what your expert view on that is. But before we do that, I'm super excited to announce this video that's coming up just now that Kendra did on her YouTube channel. Kendra has been tuning in to our show before and submitted some images, and I have come across that she has been creating some videos on all the different recipes, and I thought that was really cool. So big shout out to you, Kendra. It's absolutely wonderful to see what you're getting up to on your channel. So let's watch that video, and let's see you just right after this.
Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm sharing some photos that I took with my Fuji X100V using the Fujicolor Superia 800 recipe from Fuji X Weekly. The recipe will be shown at the end of the video and is also linked down below in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. This past weekend, I went to check out a new farmer's market in Saramone with my brother and mom. I chose a recipe that uses the classic negative simulation because I feel like classic negative suits overcast days really well. I'm very happy with the way that these photos came out. I wish that the market was bigger so that I'd have more photos to share with you guys. I honestly might have to revisit this recipe in the future because I really enjoyed using it. Compared to the Fujicolor Pro 400H recipe, this one has a little less contrast, so I think that this recipe is more suitable for my everyday photos rather than the more stylized look of the Pro 400H recipe. So just keep that in mind if you're comparing some recipes that use the classic negative simulation. If you have a recipe that you'd like to see me try out, please let me know in the comments and I will get back to you. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I've tried my best to put out a photography, videography, camera, something related video every single week. Thanks again for watching, guys. I will see you next time.
Yay. So thanks, Kendra, for letting us use your video. And for those out there in the audience, go check out her channel as soon as this one's over. Finish watching this, but after that, go check out her channel and watch all of her videos. There's some really good stuff in there. So
yes,
yeah.
Yes, she's really been getting stuck into your recipes, Ritchie, and she's pushing out videos, so that's really cool. Thanks also from me, Kendra. And yeah, so that I thought was a really nice introduction to what's coming to your cameras this next month. Hey, Kendra. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for letting us, share it in here.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it's all about community. So everyone's got something to share, and so we want to really have this platform to reach out and to do that. And yeah, so let's have another closer look at this recipe.
Yeah.
So if you want to just share a few tidbits, what you think is a strong point for this one.
So Fujicolor Superia 800 film was one of your best options for high ISO color film. And obviously with Fuji, that means greens. I think of greens and stuff like that. And this particular recipe, I think, does really well on overcast days. I think that's when it really shines. If it's a rainy day, it's perfect. It does well in sunny and indoors and all sorts of things. But, if it is overcast or rainy, you got to program that one in and give it a try. And so the recipe is that we're shooting is actually the X-Trans 3 version. And you can use that on your X-Trans 4 cameras just by, setting color chrome effect blue to off and clarity to 0. That's what I did. I chose the grain size to be large, and it works just fine on the newer cameras. So this is actually on my Fujifilm X-E4. That's what this picture here was captured on. And it was an overcast day, but the sun was shining through a little bit. And you can just see how the greens show up in it. It's really nice.
Yes, lots of greens, definitely. And yes, and we've chosen a recipe that's a little bit more versatile so that we can, share that with more of you to be able to shoot firstly on more cameras and then also in more variety of settings. Like this one here that I shot on an overcast day. So I really like how the saturation of the colors comes through. So it's definitely something that's going to, be a lot of fun to try out. And not only in daylight, because it's auto white balance. So it's a lot more flexible and versatile that you can, shoot it in all sorts of situations.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very versatile recipe. And I know some of you probably never used it before. I think once you program it in and you use it, you're going to find that you really like it.
Yes, exactly. You will.
There's one of these waterfalls that are just all over the place in the Ozarks, and just you can see how the greens once again, really show up in the picture.
Yes, lots and lots of green, and that won't change with the next picture either. We definitely want to drive that point home. So yeah, it does extremely well with green trees. But go out and try it and discover for yourself what else it can do.
And we got more green here, but I guess the point of this one was more the flower itself. It's not too vibrant. Sometimes colors, when you have a vibrant color, it just explodes with color too much. And this recipe keeps it just under that, And so, something that's got a lot of red or magenta or something like that in it does well with this recipe.
Yes, that is stunning, and lots of inspiration there, Ritchie, for people to try that out. In fading light, in sunsets and so forth, it also does really well. I had a lot of fun the other day in the park when I was there when the sun was going down, and it's giving me that really silvery look on this image. So I was having a lot of fun with that. So I can only invite you to try it out. You will be recipe, definitely. It'll be a lot of fun. We hope you will enjoy it, and can't wait to see what you come up with. And I just also
I'm
wanted
looking forward to
that. Just ask again in the audience. We're here, we look at the different recipes and we think what could be interesting to shoot, but, don't hold back. Is there anything, that you would like us to share? Is there another recipe that you would want us all to try? Or any other question, any help that we could have? Because we look at through the forums and, Ritchie also gets a lot of comments on all his blog posts that relate to the different recipes. And if there's any way we can maybe help you to wade through recipes and to, get a handle on how to shoot with them, then, do shout and, send us a message, or, if there's something that we can answer here right now, or something that we can maybe improve on in the show, we're always open to see if there's something else that we can change. Okay, Warren is asking, that there are two recipes on the site. The one uses classic negative and the other one uses ProNeg standard. Can you comment on the differences?
Yeah, absolutely. So the original one that I created was the one that uses pro negative standard, and it came out before classic negative even existed, and that's the one we're using, the one that uses pro negative standard. You can try that recipe with, just changing it from pro negative standard to classic negative to see what the results are. The newer recipe that uses classic negative is probably more accurate to the film itself. The results are a little bit different because the classic negative film simulation is modeled after Superior film. It's going to just render it more like you would see the actual film look. But that doesn't mean the old recipe doesn't look good or you shouldn't use it or anything like that.
So I guess it's
I guess that's what I would say. Yeah.
Sorry, I guess that's a nice variation also, so that people who have the newer cameras and can use the new recipe can, compare what it does. And there are quite a number of recipes that, Ritchie, you've created like way back when, and then a new film simulation came out, and that made creating that recipe, I don't know if it makes it easier, but maybe it makes it a bit more accurate or shows the look of it.
I think the new tools... the new tools that Fujifilm is constantly giving us is amazing and great. And it allows you to do things that you couldn't do before. I would say the more tools you have, the more difficult it actually becomes to create the recipes, just because you have, the more options you have, the more you have to look at, the more you have to consider and things like that. But I do love that Fujifilm is constantly giving us new tools, new film simulations, new things like color chrome effect, clarity. I'm curious what they'll have in the next generation of, X-Trans when that comes out here real soon. And so there's always new things, and that allows us to get different looks and stuff out of our cameras, and that's part of the fun of it.
Yes, and that keeps you on your toes, I guess.
Yes, always busy.
Fabulous. Yes. So everyone, grab your cameras and dial in this new recipe for the month, Fujicolor Superia 800. It is. Take a screenshot if you want, so that you set yourself a mental note and, get dialing in straight away, and also make sure.
And you can find it in the Fuji X Weekly app as well, and you can just look for that picture of that coffee, and you'll be able to spot it pretty quick.
Think coffee, think Fujicolor Superia 800, and upload your images right here on this link. Definitely screenshot this one, so that, we get to see what you come up with. We had to change the deadline for our uploads a little bit because you upload just so many images, and we need to do a little bit of work behind the scenes before we can go live every second Thursday of the month. So please submit your images by Tuesday before the show. So this next show's deadline is the 7th of June. We will make sure that we communicate that also on the SOOC.live website, and grab a screenshot here and mark it for the 7th of June. So you have a month to play around with the recipe and share those images with us. You can upload from tomorrow morning and start sharing away. We can't wait.
Yeah, and that's my favorite part of the show, is just seeing your guys' pictures. And so, just, get that recipe programmed in, start shooting, start uploading. It's exciting times.
Yes, absolutely. And if you have any questions about this recipe, how to go about it, please don't be shy, share away and ask us anything and everything. But the images that you upload, they stand a chance to win a draw. But there is a comment from Torsten, and he's saying, does the light of a continent influence the result of a recipe? I find the pictures I take in Germany, in German light, look different from those from America or Africa. That is a very interesting comment. And I think I have noticed that as well when I shoot in Germany, which I will have the privilege of doing very soon. Have you come across or have you heard people talk about this, Ritchie?
Well, I'll tell you my experience. So I've been in Salt Lake City, Utah, the last 6 years, and then we came out here to the Ozarks and to Hot Springs, and I was having this conversation with my wife that the sky looks different. And I think for here, it's probably maybe the elevation change accounts for that, and maybe even just the particles in the air. But to me, just looking at the light, it just within the same continent, it's clearly different. I noticed it, so I imagine that depending on where you are in the world, the light is different depending on things like elevation, humidity, particulates in the air, and things like that.
Yes, and I found, especially in Germany, often the light seems so much more diffused. And like I know here we often struggle with very harsh sunlight, so that sometimes can be nice, but sometimes it's also really difficult. So there is definitely changes, yes, absolutely, and that was what makes it all the more interesting and exploratory. So yeah, very, very good comment. Thank you so much, Torsten. Get a little bit of a
Is that a warning that our time is up?
Well, not time's not up, but we are getting close, I think.
Nope.
But we still definitely have time for Dan's comment. He's saying he's working SOOC on a GFX 50S2 using recipes.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So Fujifilm sent me a while back just to use a GFX 50S, the first one. And it has the same sensor as the 50S2, but a different processor. That's my understanding, anyway. And when I used the Kodak Vision 3 250D recipe on that camera, and we saw that in the last episode of SOOC. And the differences were mostly in the shadows, as where I noticed differences. The GFX camera has lighter shadows. You can see a little bit more of the detail in them. And I think the color rendering was very similar, but just ever so slightly different. Maybe, if memory serves me, it was maybe even slightly warmer, but just by a hair. But it's very subtle differences. So the recipes will work, but they'll look slightly different.
Okay.
I think what I remember comparing it, I think what I actually said at the time, maybe a year ago or whenever it was that I felt like shooting on the APS-C was almost like shooting slide film, and shooting on the GFX is almost like shooting print film, as far as kind of that. I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes sense to me, but I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else.
That's very interesting. And if you haven't seen that, go and watch last month's episode to learn all about that and watch Ritchie's video. Raki saying, is it possible to use Trans 2 recipes for Trans 3? For example, Kodachrome 64 on an XE3.
It is possible. It will look quite a bit different. The X-Trans 2 was probably the most different as far as the rendering, the color rendering and stuff of all the different sensor generations. So it is technically possible to do it. And feel free to try it for sure. Don't be hesitant to try that at all.
Always try.
You might really like the results. Yeah. But it will definitely look different.
Yes, but at the end of the day, it's important that you like it, so give it a go.
Yes. Yeah, because you might really love it.
Yes. Caroline is saying, I find that sometimes I still have to edit the JPEGs in Lightroom or go to X-Raw Studio to change the grain size in order to change highlights or shadows.
So, whatever process works for you. What we're trying to do on the show is just unedited, straight out of camera JPEGs to save you time. XRAW Studio is kind of similar to doing it in camera. I haven't used XRAW Studio in a while personally, but I know some of you out there use it a lot. Volandez is an example of somebody who has used, like, for example, the Portra 400 recipe, and then he goes in and makes adjustments in Lightroom to it. He's got a video out there about that specifically. So there's no one method that's right. It's whatever works for you in your photography.
Yes, there's no straight out of camera police.
Yes.
Not really. I mean, some people have stronger opinions than others, but at the end of the day, what we would like to do is we would like to inspire you, give you tools to make your shooting experience an easier one, and to get beautiful looking JPEGs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we've got a comment from Rob. He says, I found it quite difficult in contrasty situations to not blow out the highlights with the Vision 3 250D, but really loved the results when I got it right. So
the Eterna film simulation does a really good job on its own of handling the highlights. Fujifilm programmed that one really well for that, but it does use DR100. And so one solution might be to, in those really bright highlight situations, is maybe just increase it to DR200 and see if that, holds that back, and keeps it from clipping, or reduce the exposure a little bit. There's a couple different strategies that you could try.
Yeah, very high contrasty situations are tricky at the best of times. So you need to choose, you win some, you lose some, especially thinking about the fact that, especially the recipes that are modeled on actual film stock will have less of a dynamic range just because film had less dynamic range in general. I think we're incredibly spoiled now with digital and humongous amounts of stops that we can capture in one image.
Even how film and digital, handle their dynamic range is different. Film tends to have more room in the highlights and less in the shadows, while digital tends to have more room in the shadows and less in the highlights.
Yes. So it's all a road of discovery. Yeah. Björn says, always find that multi-exposures are harder than we think.
They are. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, a really nice challenge. So, Ritchie, I think we need to take that offline and see what we can do with that one.
Sure.
Yeah. Fabulous. And Oliver has a comment. He says, what do you guys think of third-party lenses, specifically the Chinese ones, such as Pergear and Seven Artisans?
He says I have some experience with both of those.
I'm so sorry. There is a follow-on question that says, dang, and my question is, how do you guys like third-party manual focus lenses with Fujifilm simulation recipes? Okay.
So obviously the lens itself can affect how the recipe renders, just depending on the coatings on the lens. Some lenses have a little bit warmer, cooler coatings on them, the micro contrast and stuff like that. I have used Pergear and Seven Artisans and stuff like that, and I think what I really like about them is that they have a lot of character. They have a lot of flaws, which is what gives them, a lot of their character. And so you can get some really interesting results. At the same time, those flaws can also ruin a picture. So it's just depending, like there's one lens, and I can't remember which one it was off the top of my head, that had a bright spot in the center of the lens that you could clearly see, and quite a bit of vignetting. And so I could easily make your image, or it could ruin your image. Sometimes the flare and stuff like that can get crazy, which again can make the image or break the image. So if you want to infuse a lot of character and kind of some of that analog light character into your pictures, those third party lenses, like those cheap inexpensive ones from China are a great way to do it. But at the same time, if you don't like those kind of flaws to be in your pictures, then maybe those are ones to avoid. So it could go either way.
So I'd like to think that flaws give character and, are a good thing.
I think so. In my opinion, is more good than bad.
Yes.
So if that makes any sense.
Yes.
It's good, but use caution.
Exactly. So when you upload your images with us, you automatically enter into our lucky draw. And every month we give away a 12-month subscription to the awesome Fuji X Weekly app. And we are giving one away again before we go our separate ways. So it sounds like the sound guys have found the sound effects.
Yep. They're having fun. That's what's important. They're having fun back there.
Exactly. Yeah. So everyone who submitted, thank you once again for all your awesome creations. One of you guys will walk away with a subscription. So can we draw the wheel and see who our winner for this month is, please? Okay, there we go. All the many colors. Let's see who won a subscription. And it is Barry Stud. Congratulations. Congratulations for being our winner this month. And thank you for always submitting your images. It's clearly paying off. Please do get in touch with us so that we can take it from here. If you already are a Patreon, do get in touch with us anyway. We will see what we can do for you.
We'll work something out. Yeah, just reach out to us in some way, either on social media or email or whatever.
Don't stay silent, whatever it is.
Yes.
We also have the SOOC.live website where we have all our past winners. So if you are not sure and haven't watched all the episodes, do head on over there and see if you can find your name and reach out to us. Yeah. We give one subscription away every month. And we definitely want to make sure that we want you to join us as a live guest. This is a celebration of the Fujifilm community, and we want to connect with you. So if you think you want to come on the show and chat to us as a live guest, please reach out. You can comment with the hashtag SOOC live guest. Or connect with us on the social platforms. You know how to get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to feature you and let you tell your story and share it with the rest of the audience here live on one of our next shows.
And it won't be too scary. We'll make it a little bit. We'll make it comfortable for you. And I like to say, if I can do this, then anybody can. Absolutely anybody can. So.
Absolutely. It would be wonderful to have you. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. And yeah, we are already here again, Ritchie. Thank you so very much. Thank you for taking so much of your time, and even while you're traveling in the hot of hot springs. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for taking the time for for doing what you're doing, and for doing more of what you're doing, and giving us all these beautiful recipes to try and play around with.
Well, thank you for having me on, and in doing this thing together. This SOOC video, and I really appreciate all those who are out there watching, who tune in and take their time. And I hope that you learned something or got some inspiration out of this, and found it to be worthwhile. And we just appreciate your time.
Yes, we couldn't do this without you. We wouldn't be here. No. There would not be any show if it wasn't for you for tuning in. So thank you so much. Thank you for your support. It is an absolutely pleasure and honor to be here with you. And with that said, I think, it's time to say goodbye. Ritchie, do you want to do the honors first?
Yeah, well, thank you once again, Nathalie, and everyone watching. And definitely load that recipe into your camera and start shooting and start uploading. And I'm super excited to see what you guys come up with, and we'll see you in a month.
Yes, we will see
Bye.
you again next month. The show will be on the 9th of June. This is our next date. Deadline for images is the 7th, don't forget. And we can't wait to connect with you again. So from me also, it is time to say goodbye. Stay safe, keep well, and until next time, goodbye from now.
Bye.